This is what happens when you use ChatGPT to be your lawyer.
I come here today a humble pro se before a panel of 5 distinguished justices.
Is that counsel for the case?
I generated that. That is not a real person.
I don't appreciate being misled. Shut that off.
Our firm is dealing with AI every single day, from the clients who are using AI as part of their business practices to creatives using AI in their creative process. And we also have clients on the tech side utilizing AI or otherwise actually developing AI apps. I stumbled across this article today. Man employs AI avatar in legal appeal and the judge is not amused. This is the New York Times. So we're going to see AI in the practice of law. And here's the thing. I see these apps all the time. Hire an AI lawyer. Get your own AI paralegal. Now, is this actually a replacement for a lawyer? Well, I guess let's actually go back. Let's see what happened and we'll go from there. Okay, so the use of a video persona created with AI software to help an argument earns a stern rebuke. Jerome Dewald sat with his legs crossed and his hands folded in his lap in front of an appellate panel of New York state judges ready to argue for a reversal of a lower court decision. So someone's in court and he is about to step up to make his oral argument. The court allowed Mr. Dewald, who is not a lawyer. Okay, I was curious about that. So not a lawyer, and was representing himself to accompany his argument with a pre-recorded video presentation. The video began to play. It showed a man seemingly younger than Mr. Dewald, who's 74 years old, wearing a blue collared shirt and a beige sweater. Okay, we want to watch this. Let's go to this video.
Dewald versus Mass Mutual is being called out of turn, and the appellant has submitted a video for his argument. Okay, we will hear that video now.
May it please the court. I come here today a humble pro se before a panel of 5 distinguished justices.
Hold on. Is that counsel for the case?
So first of all, the judge is just confused because the appellant had said, I'm going to give you a pre-recorded video for my oral argument. So they're like, who is this person? Even if this was an attorney, it probably was still going to be a problem because this is a pro se. This is someone representing himself.
I generated that.
I'm sorry?
I generated that.
I generated that.
That is not a real person.
Oh boy.
Okay, it would have been nice to know that when you made your application. You did not tell me that, sir. I received the application. And you have appeared before this court and been able to testify verbally in the past. You have gone to my clerk's office and held verbal conversations with our staff for over 30 minutes. Okay? I don't appreciate being misled.
She's saying in regards to an application, so it sounds like he had specifically applied to have this video permitted to be played to the court in lieu of him giving actual testimony himself. Here's the thing. Candor to the court is so important, and this is for an attorney, this is for someone who's representing themselves, in that there are literally ethical rules. You will get into so much trouble if you're an attorney and you do something that is misleading to the court, or in this case, if you're representing yourself, there are still rules. And so the problem here is that this is an argument that he did not actually prepare himself. It's artificial intelligence, and of course that's not him giving the actual oral argument. And so he was leading the court allegedly to believe, because I haven't seen the application, but to believe that this was going to be genuine personal advocacy for himself. And a huge part of the problem here is that, for example, ChatGPT or one of these AI services where it's drafting contracts and drafting letters and drafting oral argument for you. It is not a lawyer. And so if you don't prepare the argument yourself, if you don't understand the argument yourself, and here's the thing, AI hallucinates. It will literally make up legal claims or cite to cases that do not exist. But let's see what happened from here.
So either you are suffering from an ailment that prevents you from being able to articulate, or you don't. You are not going to use this courtroom as a launch for your business, sir. So if you are able to shut that off. If you want to have oral argument time, you may stand up and give it to me.
When I heard the judge say that, I did a little research. I'm like, to launch his business, what is she talking about? So I found this person on LinkedIn and I linked to his business to see that he is a part of a business that does this AI advocacy. So I'm assuming what he generated, right? That's what they do for other people. So you can see how well this went for him. If you're needing legal help with your career, your business, we got you covered. Feel free to reach out to my law firm. I'm honored to say we have over 100 5-star Google reviews. We offer free case evaluations, which just means that you can give us a call, you can email us, no commitment. We'll just see how we can help. We look forward to hearing from you. Now, guys, here's the thing. Courts are even implementing tech to see if what you are drafting and filing is made with AI, whether you represent yourself or you're actually a lawyer. And so you potentially are not only going to have an issue of misrepresenting facts if you say something that isn't true, whether you intended it to be or not. We've seen lawyers get completely disbarred, meaning they lose their license forever because they used AI. The AI generated a case that does not exist. The attorney didn't check it, and then they file it with the court. That's fraud on the court. And then beyond that, that's going to undermine your credibility for your case, setting aside you getting potentially sanctioned by the court.
You have 5 minutes.
Okay, so she's having him get up and do it for reals, but he's getting his phone. What is he doing? Maybe he has his notes on his phone. He's putting in his earbuds. Why is he putting in his earbuds? The judge is so mad right now. I think he's putting this video on his phone. And I don't know if this is what he's doing, but it looks to me like he's about to play the video so he can listen to it and actually say what's being said. It's a little hard to see, but that's what it looked like to me. So that actually doesn't change anything. And I think the judge may have missed that because it's still the same problem. It doesn't matter if he stands there and says the AI legal argument or he does it. That is not a legal argument that he prepared. He's allowing the court to believe that these are his words. And he doesn't necessarily understand this if he's not able to just articulate it himself to the judge. You know, even with my own law firm, some of the things that I've seen, because I've seen ChatGPT generated contracts and they are missing really essential language. And this is the stuff that is getting people sued literally in the millions of dollars because there wasn't, for example, indemnification. There was the wrong choice of law generated by the AI. Or on the flip side, some people are getting into situations of the unauthorized practice of law, again, which can result in sanctions and the loss of your license if you are an attorney. Now, here's the thing. Litigants have to prepare their own cases, or you hire an attorney. You hire someone who is licensed and a professional, because at the end of the day, this is about making sure you have the best chance at winning. And so if you have now this unexpected consequence because you used AI in one way or another, and now your entire case is getting derailed or things are falling apart because what the AI generated wasn't real, ultimately, this is not good for you. So DIY justice, representing yourself, that's of course okay. But in every instance, your legal representation has to be authentic and human. Back to the article, what Mr. Dewald failed to disclose was that he created the digital avatar using AI, the latest example of AI creeping into the US legal system in potentially troubling ways. Mr. Dewald, the plaintiff in the case, said he had been overwhelmed by embarrassment at the hearing. He said that he sent the judges a letter of apology shortly afterwards. That's a good move. Expressing his deep regret and acknowledging his actions had, quote, inadvertently misled, end quote, the court. He said he had resorted to using software after stumbling over his words in previous legal proceedings. Using AI for the presentation he thought might ease the pressure he felt in the courtroom. He said he had planned to make a digital version of himself, but had encountered technical difficulties in doing so, which prompted him to create a fake person for the recording instead. My intent was never to deceive, but rather to present my arguments in the most efficient manner possible, he said his letter to the judges. However, I recognize that proper disclosure and transparency must always take precedence. Now, I watched the entire legal argument, so what he said through his entire argument, and then what he said on rebuttal, and he was citing to cases, and he was giving legal precedent. So again, this just comes into how much was actually based on his research, how much was AI assisted. A self-described entrepreneur, Mr. Dewald, was appealing an earlier ruling in a contract dispute with a former employer. He eventually presented an oral argument at the appellate hearing, stammering and taking frequent pauses to regroup and read prepared remarks from his cell phone. See, I think the New York Times also missed it. I could be wrong. You guys let me know what you think. If he was just reading off of his phone, I'm unclear why he put in his earbuds right before getting up to give his presentation. And in his presentation, it was actually quite well worded.
I began working for MassMutual under a fully executed B contract that contained no arbitration clause. This was a complete binding agreement that MassMutual now attempts to dismiss as merely a receipt of policies, a clear mischaracterization designed to facilitate their bait and switch.
In 2023, a New York lawyer faced severe repercussions after using ChatGPT to create a legal brief riddled with fake judicial opinions and legal citations. The case showcased the flaws in relying on AI and reverberated throughout the legal trade. Some experts say that AI and large language models can be helpful to people who have legal matters to deal with but cannot afford lawyers. Still, the technology's risks remain. Quote, they can hallucinate, produce very compelling looking information that is actually either fake or nonsensical, said Daniel Shin, the Assistant Director of Research for the Center of Legal and Court Technology at the William and Mary Law School. Quote, that risk has to be addressed. AI in general is fascinating to me, but I'm very interested in how it's impacting intellectual property rights, particularly copyright. We'll be covering this more in upcoming videos, so don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.